Have everybody's attention. We'll try to get started on this special meeting. It's not official, it's unofficial, so I'm not going to call the meeting to order as we would normally. This is what I think the evening's going to go like, and Jimmy, you correct me if I'm wrong, but you know, as we did several months ago, we selected Jimmy Moses and Fletcher and their firm to help us look at options for some more downtown development. And it's obvious if you drive up around the plaza and see the steel going up even today on our 600 Main building, we are, the momentum is definitely swinging in our favor, and we need to take advantage of the economy and the opportunity to partner with the experience and downtown development that Jimmy and Fletcher bring to the table. So what I see going on here is I'm going to invite Jimmy up and let him just take the ball, run with it about some of the thoughts and the visions that he and I see the Taggart Architects are here too. We can answer some questions about what they think. We really wanted you guys to see this before basically they took it on the street to market it. The big deal is in May in Vegas that I'm sure that North Little Rock and all of Arkansas actually going to be there in full force. And we want to be able to present this to the masses out there. There'll be literally thousands of people out there to see our product. So with that, Jimmy, I'll turn it over to you and let you take it and run with it. I do want to make an announcement that tonight is our final night of our antiquated video system. We are not going out over Comcast. It is broke. And it is going out on Facebook, and we are recording it. So, Jimmy, Fletcher, podium's yours.
Fletcher Hansen, thank you for having us tonight. Obviously, a few months ago now, we were engaged by the city to list the property and come up with some vision for the site with our brokerage company, which I'm a big part of, then also our development company and our development teams here tonight. So we've been back and forth with the city, with the architects, looking at this site and looking at how it interacts with the sites around it. So look forward to presenting this evening. And with that, I'll turn it over to Jimmy.
Great. Thanks, Fletch. Well, I'm Jimmy Moses with Newmark Moses Tucker Partners, and I'm really delighted to be here. This is a terrific assignment. I want to make sure that I introduce the rest of our team. Ray Nolan, Jamie Moses, and Alan New. Alan, you probably know best. Alan is principal and partner with Taggart Architects. And we are witnessing, as we speak, his new building going up. I said to the guys, we had a little pre-meeting beforehand, that Argenta is beginning to look like Manhattan for Arkansas. And I say that with great respect and a lot of excitement. It's just really wonderful to see what you all have done to galvanize and make your urban core come back to life. And I tell people this all the time. We get a lot of good publicity in Little Rock, and we worked hard for many years on the river market in particular. But I look at what's happening on this side of the river, and I just marvel at it. And I think the latest phase with Charles Morgan's company moving over with the Taggart development, and hopefully the next building that's there on the plaza, absolutely the best is yet to come. So in that respect, we've visited with the mayor on several occasions, and he suggested that it be appropriate to update the council tonight, which is really what we want to do. We want to show you conceptually how we're approaching this assignment and try to answer any questions you might have. And if you see that we're off the mark, let us know through the mayor. We take our cue from him. I want you to know that this assignment in some ways reminds us of what we're doing right now, excuse me, in another Arkansas city, which is El Dorado. And we may have mentioned it, and you may have heard about it, but like Argenta in North Little Rock, but in a much more challenging part of the state with no interstate access, et cetera, the city of El Dorado is in this incredible transformation process of their downtown. And it's been a 20-year project, and again, one of those overnight successes, 20 years in the making. But if you haven't been to downtown El Dorado in the last couple of years, you really owe it to yourself to go take a look, because their square is alive and vibrant, much like Main Street here is becoming. They've done all sorts of wonderful things to bring people and interest there. And then under the leadership and guidance of the major corporations there, primarily the Murphy Company and Murphy Oil and Murphy USA, they created the district, their cultural and entertainment district, which they call the MAD, Murphy Arts District. And they've got in progress $75 to $100 million investment in that small town of less than 20,000 people, with the goal of creating an entertainment and cultural oasis in the southern part of the state. And as they move forward, and as they develop phases 1 and 2, which are now in place, what they began to realize is that people who might want to come there for an event, like a basketball game or music or anything that they can generate there in their facilities, they had a significant problem, and that is there's really nowhere to stay, particularly downtown. So through working with them and knowing them over a period of time and raise family relationship, we were able to forge an agreement to take on a similar assignment, and we are now, after a year of planning and work, we're under construction with the Haywood Hotel right off their square, $14 million, 70-room boutique luxury hotel that I think will rival any other hotel, certainly around the state, and put them on the map in a great way. So jump back to this assignment. What have you got to start with? Well, you're on the river. You're in a metropolitan area of 750,000. You have on one side flanking Main Street a major anchor in the Verizon, soon to be Simmons Arena. And on the other side, you have the wonderful Dickie Stevens Baseball Park, and you have food and beverage and entertainment and energy in between, primarily focused on Main Street. You do have a hotel, and we're glad it's there and hope it continues to stay and thrive with, and I'm speaking of the Wyndham. But as in Little Rock, the key is to get critical mass and to continue to add to your hotel stock and to your entertainment abilities decade after decade after decade. So cities that don't see this kind of development, and they're once every 20 years, are typically a bit behind the curve. And so what we're hoping to do is work on the site that we've been assigned, which is on the screen up here, to work with, and to rethink its purpose and meaning as a complement to everything else that's been done, and hopefully to take you up another notch as you grow and develop your downtown area. So just to make sure we're all knowledgeable, and I think you are, we front on Main Street. The primary structure that's on that site right now is the City Services Building, which was developed 30 or 40 years ago. I don't recall exactly how far back, but I remember it being built. It was built as a bank, and it certainly served its purpose well, because it worked well as a bank, and it's obviously worked well as office space. What we think, though, is when you look at this site, situated really perfectly between an arena and a baseball park, first of all, we think about the marketing potential of what you've got on this side of the river. And you've done it in spades with Burns Park. You've done a phenomenal job building a soccer complex that is, My son Jamie played, or his kids have played there, and we've watched it grow and develop. And we hear this regularly, and I know you do too, that both the tennis center and the soccer center are as good as or better than anything in this part of the country, which is just remarkable. That brings hotel guests and users to your city, and we think that building on that on this site makes a lot of sense. So when we look at this site and we say, and we've talked about this with our team, what ought to be there, Nathan, if we could go to the next slide. First of all, what we think is it's important to add mass and scale, and we think the development needs to be pushed up to Main Street. What you have right now is you come across the bridge, this kind of a snaggletooth urban core. It works well when you get to City Hall, but the first 2 blocks there, as the arrow is pointing to, are primarily, again, much like your neighbor to the south, Little Rock, full of surface parking. Surface parking is deadly for an urban district. People will walk 3, 4, even 5 blocks, even in cities like Little Rock and North Little Rock, but they won't go that far when they encounter nothing. And nothing, the deadliest form of nothing, in my opinion, is surface parking. So the surface parking is really not an asset except for the fact that it's a location for your next project. And that's the way I always like to look at it. In terms of what to build, we knew starting and talking with the mayor from the get-go that development should be complementary to what's already here. And I've already talked about the arena, the ballpark, and the food and beverage, the theater that's downtown, a lot of things that you've already accomplished. And we also know that you have a hotel, and it's a good hotel and an asset to downtown. We think you need more, and we think the time is right to consider that. And so the centerpiece of the development would be a significant hotel, and the arrow's pointing to that. It would sit generally where the city services building is today, and we envision that hotel as being between 75 on the low end and 150 rooms on the high end. That would put us in a category of if you will, of the Hilton Garden Inn in Little Rock. That's the most recent downtown hotel. It's 130 rooms, so give you a sense. The Capitol Hotel is 90 rooms. We need enough to create a full-service hotel, and by that full service we mean we envision a restaurant, we envision some meeting rooms to complement the arena and the activity downtown. We also think that with a room height, with a building height of about 75 feet, which is what we think the minimum height would be of this facility, that we could create a remarkable rooftop environment, something that would be unique for downtown North Little Rock and really unique for almost anywhere in Arkansas, where we would have a wonderful food and beverage environment, perhaps a pool, but with take advantage of the views of not only the skyline of Little Rock to the south and the river, but also the views that are being created right now in downtown North Little Rock. So the north view, as well as east and west, where you're looking at arena and ballpark, the north view would pick up on the plaza, again, the new Privacy Star, First Orion development, and so forth. So a really unique environment that gives you skyline of both cities, if you will. In addition to the hotel, and to complement it, we thought not only do we want to focus on filling in Main Street, and you can see some building enhancement there at the corner of 3rd and Main, and also as we move to the south, perhaps even rethinking the Chamber building, although it can work either way, with or without it. But I think the most important component that we like is another urban green, which is immediately adjacent and to the north of the proposed hotel site. That green would be a complement and companion to the hardscape development at 5th and Main. This would be more tree and grass, more open space, if you will. but complementary to the other.
I say too, maybe want to go to the next slide too.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, this gives you a little bit better feel of it. We also think that housing could be a component to and part of the overall development. It could flank on perhaps the east side of this square or green, some new housing that could be wrapped and included in our parking concept. We're looking at both structured and surface parking. It would be, again, dependent on, if we go to structured parking, about the density of the overall development of the site, and that's going to come later as we move forward and into this. And then the other thing that we want to say, and then I'll stop and open the floor for questions. What we asked Alan to do, and I think he's done a fantastic job, is to render a concept here. What we want to make sure you understand, and we certainly understand, is that today as we stand here, we're really talking about a concept. Again, we believe very much that the center of that concept should be a hotel. And we think it should be a full-service hotel of the boutique style or specialty hotel style that is being developed again and has been in Northwest Arkansas and is now in El Dorado. But as to the specifics, we want the flexibility to market this site, and our intention is to market this nationally. And as developers and hoteliers and others come look, and we hope that we'll get several, you never know, but that will be our goal. We don't want to be so rigid in our concept that we can't encourage their flexibility and their knowledge and their input in helping flesh out what works best from an economic standpoint. As we look at the potential of selling this site and bringing a national developer in, and we're going to work very hard on that, and that's Fletcher's lead. Ray, Jamie, and Alan and I will be working also locally and internally through our development division of our company as we look at the potential of developing this for you. And what we really hope to do is bring you options, and then you as a council can decide what you like and what you don't like and direct us accordingly. And we can't promise anything about what that will look like, but we can promise you that we'll be very committed to this. As I said when I started, we're extremely excited. This is a unique site, I think, in this part of the country. Has tremendous potential thanks to the stage you've set. And we can see, I hope 2 to 3 years from today, a hotel sitting there, and perhaps there's an event on the rooftop of that celebrating the opening of the next phase of development in Argenton. So with that, we're all here to try to field any questions you might have of us.
Questions, comments?
Where's parking? I thought, I thought there was going to be parking there when you said houses right there. Where's
Well,
parking?
parking is probably literally up in the air. We don't want to overstate that a parking garage is a must. That could be the east edge of the site that we were just pointing to. Yes. That could be a parking garage to serve a fairly dense development where we might need up to 500 or 600 cars. But we also think that a well-done surface lot, depending on the size of the hotel, could also suffice. Really kind of depends. We haven't talked numbers, and I'll just quickly tell you that the kind of hotel we're talking about will cost at a low end $170 a foot up to $200 a foot plus. So a 100-room hotel on this site is in the $20 million range, just to give you a ballpark. And that's before we get to any kind of structured parking. So the economics will be incredibly important to anybody who wants to build here. And to force a garage into the equation right now probably doesn't make the most sense. It's an option, and it'll be looked at as part of the overall development, and it'll really depend on what the overall components wind up being of this project.
I just think it's awesome. Does the bank stay?
The,
The bank's not ours.
which bank?
Right there, what's that? Does that stay?
We have, everything that's on there, the dirt underneath it would be subject to sale. I have talked to the bank, I've talked to all the other property owners around there, us being the most of them. Tenenbaum Group owns across the street, so everything's available.
Okay. I mean, I just think it's an awesome site. I just see a lot of,
Mr. Height?
I've got a special interest in El Dorado. Our son-in-law has his law office in downtown El Dorado, and our grandson has his record store in downtown El Dorado, and I'm quite familiar with how El Dorado has grown, not only in not just in population, but in activity and what they're doing down there to draw people into downtown El Dorado. Correct me if I'm wrong though, but in El Dorado, y'all didn't centerpiece the downtown area with a new hotel. You took existing structures that were there and created an entertainment, retail, restaurant magnet down there that draws people to downtown El Dorado. My question is this, is if you put in a hotel in downtown North Little Rock, what's going to draw people to that hotel or to downtown North Little Rock? I'm looking at maybe if we do something in downtown North Little Rock, we do something that's going to cause people to want to come to North Little Rock downtown, not just to spend the night, but to spend money on food and spend money on other things in downtown North Little Rock and activities. Can you answer that question, or?
Sure. Well, to go back to El Dorado quickly, Ray, why don't you just give them a minute on the product, and then
Put me on the spot
yeah,
here.
put you on the spot.
Well,
Just leading that effort down there.
I think your question was, is it your first was a redevelopment or a ground up? The Murphy Arts District, which we did not work on, was what you said. It was existing structures. The hotel we're doing down there is a ground up on a vacant piece of land. So as far as the hotel goes, and I know this doesn't directly answer the question you had here about getting people into North Little Rock, but it was a 70-room hotel that we're doing down there as a boutique in nature. We've aligned it with a Hilton soft brand, so that allows us to be a boutique hotel and independent. That's a project we're doing down there. I'll sort of open this up to Jamie or Jimmy as far as how we, to kind of answer your question about getting people down to the site and to the hotel.
Yeah, Jimmy, tell us who Ray, what part of your team he is, and
Ray Nolan and Jamie Moses and I are the development division of our company. Sorry.
I understand that, but when I guess for everybody's sake, when they come to the mic, I mean, who are they and what they do? I mean, I'm sure that if they come, they're with you, they're part of your team, but what do you do with your team?
We're all part of the development division, so we envision projects and we get them built. And right now, Ray and Jamie are leading the effort of the hotel down in El Dorado.
Ms. Ross?
One quick question. I'll see if I can use my pointer. Right there, those buildings right there, and I know that this is just, concept, just thoughts what possibly would work there?
Well, we think, and back to Councilman Height's question, which is a good one, we think adding additional retail to the street, commercial activity, food and beverage perhaps, is very important with maybe housing above it. So that's conceptually what's there, but again, I don't want you to get too hung up on this because this could change significantly. And as to really to your point, it's the combined offering of what a city can bring and do that brings people to it. It's a little bit of food and beverage, or a lot of that. It's certainly entertainment. And one thing you've got in spades, I just saw today, I think you're the 44th ranked arena in terms of attendance in the world. World ranking, Verizon Arena, number 44. That's phenomenal.
22nd in the country.
22nd in the U.S. So building on that, certainly. Dickie Stevens, magnificent. I was down here Sunday walking around thinking about everything, and I was looking at the ballpark. Such a great asset, such a wonderful addition to the fabric. What else can we do to maximize it? What about the fringes and the areas around it to add to it? So we challenge you, and we'll be talking to you about, we're very interested in youth sports as a use that could generate some special activities here, and those all are going to have to be rolled in.
Let me add just one comment and one thought, is that I live in North Little Rock. I live about 5 miles from here, and I grew up in this city, and we're looking for something up in my neighborhood to bring us down to downtown North Little Rock. It makes it exciting to come down here. I'm not coming down here to spend the night. I'm not going to bring my family down here to spend the night. But the residents of North Little Rock, there's a lot of people like me that would like to see something really happening in downtown North Little Rock that makes this place vibrant and economically, sound.
Now, you know that thing they're building up there is called the Argenta Plaza?
I understand.
Okay, if that doesn't bring them down, nothing will.
I think he's looking for some type of hook, as they have in El Dorado. I mean, these guys, they can't bring the hook, but what happens is if you have a Verizon Arena, you have the ballpark, you already have some things in place. Then you get a fine hotel and then other places around it, then all of that stuff just kind of feeds off of what you already have in place. So I think that this will generate the hook that you're looking for.
Any other questions? Okay, Jimmy, if I get any comments in the next day or two, y'all feel free to call me. I'll relay them to our development team, and you guys go out there and see if we can bring somebody to the table we can sit down with and try to make something special happen.
Well, know that we really appreciate the opportunity to work with you. We think the potential is tremendous, and we always know we've got our work cut out for us, because none of these developments come easily. They're otherwise they'd already be there. And hotels are challenging, but I think they really do bring an element of excitement. A new hotel, particularly with some of the features that we think this hotel could have, may surprise you in terms of how not only out-of-town visitors, but locals wind up there. I look at the Capitol Hotel and think about how many times I'm in there using it as a local. You know, I live 5 minutes from it too, so.
When's this Vegas trip?
Pardon me?
When's the Vegas trip?
It's a day. Third week of May.
Okay. If you need another cheerleader, let me know. Okay. All right. Okay.
You gotta have a real estate license to go on that trip, sir.
Jimmy, thank you.
Thank you.
Jamie, all of you guys. Alan, good job.
Thank you.
Ms. Whitby, do you want to make a quick announcement on sign up?
Yes, if you're here to speak at any time during this meeting, you need to sign in with me now. You only have a few minutes. You'll sign the small card if it's public comment at the end of the meeting, the large sheet if it's on legislation. If you are a member of the Historic District Commission, please come see me now so you can sign your oath of office.
Right.
Jim, you can go to no media.
We're going to amend from a wavering to, we're going to grant and defer.
No, I don't have the special card.
Just defer it to later on.
You have it electronic.
Okay, if everybody will take their seats, we'll try to get started. We're just a little bit behind schedule, but that's okay, we'll catch up. Okay, you good?
One guy that's going out to talk to Tom that's here on a condemnation.
Okay.
And that's the airplane.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much for your attention. I do appreciate it. Let me hit my little hammer here and call this meeting to order. Ms. Whitby?
Ross,
Here.
White,
Here.
Taylor,
Here.
Robinson.
Here.
Baxter.
Here.
Harris.
Here.
Gann.
Here.
And Height. Here, present. The quorum is present, sir.
Thank you very much. I invite you to rise for the prayer and pledge to be done by Council Member Ken.
Lord Jesus, I ask that you would bless each person here, help us to make good decisions, help each individual that is on our city staff to be safe, and we ask that you would bless our evening in Jesus' name.
Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Second.
On the motion.
On the motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting, including special call, Ross,
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Taylor.
Yes.
Robinson.
Yes.
Baxter.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Gann.
Yes.
Height.
Thank you very much. Anybody want to pull a communications? I see two. Seeing none, how about a motion to accept?
Accept and file.
Second.
On the motion.
Ross.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Taylor.
Yes.
Robinson.
Yes.
Baxter.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Gann.
Yes.
And Height.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Let's go into the special call.
Okay. This is an email dated Friday, April the 19th, 2019, from City Attorney Amy Fields to the honorable members of the North Little Rock City Council. The purpose of this email is to advise you that Mayor Smith has called a special meeting of the North Little Rock City Council at 6:05 p.m. on Monday, April 22nd, 2019, in the City Hall Council Chambers. The following will be on the agenda. 1963, amending Article 21, Table of Permitted Uses of Ordinance Number 7697, the zoning ordinance, to add and allow solar energy farms in an I-2 and I-3 zones and as conditional use in I-1 zones. The sponsor is Mayor Smith, and it was sent to all eight members.
Thank you very much. I'll accept a motion for that, and then I'll try to explain it.
Okay, well, I'll move we waive all readings, and then I'd like to hear your
Okay.
explanation.
How about a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second to waive all readings. Let me tell you exactly what's going on here. On a literally a daily basis, we are visiting with different developers that are looking at the possibilities of doing solar farms. And, you know, one reason that we tend to have a lead over other communities is that when we sit down with these developers, we bring our whole team in, you know, from planning to engineering to electric, and we can answer most any question that they come up with while they're sitting there at the table for the first time. And this particular question, when it comes up, we don't have an answer for it because our zoning laws don't have it. They don't say where a solar farm could be. So we felt like it was important that we went ahead and made a decision, which is, of course, is amendable, and you could certainly do special uses or conditional uses later. But this gives us a little bit of a map that we can tell solar developers that if you're in this particular zone, for sure, you know, you can build a solar farm. So that's why we've asked legal to draw this up. Ms. White?
I just wondered, what is a solar farm going to look like?
Well, it's a big, huge field with a whole bunch of solar panels.
Right, so how small can one be?
Well, it has, to, you know, I mean, I don't know that I could tell you, but I would say, I don't know, Scott, what do you think? 20 acres, 50 acres?
They're popping up.
Okay. Okay, so 7 acres.
So that's a large one or a small one?
They're,
Ms. Robinson?
We do have some I-2s, I-1s, and I think some I-3 that are located close to communities and neighborhoods. So when we set up these solar farms, we have to take into consideration of these zonings that are located near communities. Because one community in particular I'm thinking about is Glenview. There's property that's zone industrial right there, you know, near Glenview. So I want us to take under consideration communities when we start allowing these solar farms in, and I ask my peers on the council, you know, to look closely at that, because I'm sure in some of the other wards, there are some industrial areas where these farms could go.
You know, this is my opinion on it, council member, but if I had a house that was next to I-1, 2, or 3, I would beg for a solar farm. It is a very, very quiet neighbor, if you will. I mean, they literally, there's no noise, there's no traffic, you know, there's no nothing. So that's why I thought this was a pretty easy piece of legislation, because anything I-2, 3, or 1, a solar farm would be much better than a manufacturing company, you know, or a crushing company, or whatever it might be. Mr. Height?
I'm traveling Interstate 40, Interstate 30, and 55. I've seen a lot of these solar farms are popping up along highways, and there's a lot of solar mirrors out there in these fields that are along the highways. I would probably say that if one does come to existence in North Little Rock, it's going to be along a rural highway somewhere within our city limits.
Probably.
You know, it's not going to be in a neighborhood, but,
Ms. Gann?
you know.
Does this include windmill farms?
No, solar.
Just
Solar.
Solar. We don't have enough wind here for wind power. Okay, we got a motion and a second to waive all readings on the motion.
Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
How about a motion to adopt?
So move.
All right, how about a motion to adopt?
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, with that, I'm going to call a public hearing. Anyone here to speak on solar energy farms in I-2 and 3 zones and ones, I-2, 1, 2, and 3s? Seeing none, close the public hearing on the motion.
On the motion to adopt, Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
On the emergency, Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. We've got quite a long consent agenda. On the appointments, I'm certainly going to recognize them individually. Anybody want to pull a consent agenda item?
R-1975.
R19 what?
75. R-1975.
1967.
Why are you pulling 67?
Yeah.
Why are you pulling that one? He's gonna-
He's here, I want it.
Yeah, I'm going to recognize all of them. There's more than one here.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
63, Mayor, unless there's something with the PIF that I don't see.
63?
The personal information sheet is no
Yes.
longer filed with the legislation. It is filed directly with our office, separate for reasons.
Yes, Our ordinance requires that the personal information sheet be on file with the city clerk's office, because, and they are, and it's accessible to the public, but since these are published on the internet, just to make it, since it has people's personal information in it, have at least an extra step before we're putting people's addresses and phone numbers and personal information out when they're volunteers for our commissions. But we still comply with the ordinance.
Okay.
Okay, if it's PII, then I'll accept it as PII and we'll move on. I withdraw my request for 63 to be
Okay.
pulled out then.
How about a motion and, to approve the consent agenda minus number 1975?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Let me go back and, especially on these appointments, because as council said, these people are all volunteering their time, and
Well, and two of them are here to be sworn in tonight.
I'm going to read all their names, and then we'll ask the ones to come up that are here to be sworn in. So we've got, this is on the Historic District Commission, Denise Hanson. We're reappointing Thomas Marr. We're reappointing Ken Davenport and Deborah Roberts and Charlie Hart. Charlie, thank you for your service. Susan Markman and J. Mason Toms, all on the Historic District Commission, which has some authority, and they kind of are the watchdog for what's going on. Did I leave somebody out, Sandra?
And we have a new appointment, Ross Maestas.
Did I leave that out?
Yes, he was the first one.
Okay. You're taking Denise Hanson's place. Okay. All right, well, great. Again, to all the people that aren't here, thank you very much. We appreciate your past service and your future service. So if y'all come up, Ms. Whitby would be more than honored to offer you the oath of office. Thank you, guys. Sandra, thank you for the job that you do preserving our history. Okay, Ms. Whitby, you want to call 75?
Yes, sir. Number 75 is a resolution authorizing disposal in landfill of certain city-owned items that have been rendered worthless by damage or prolonged use, or that have only residual value and have been through public auction and not sold.
Move for adoption.
Second.
Question?
Okay, why I wanted this read is, this is disposal of city property, unusable city property that we couldn't sell to the landfill. Well, I have a problem with anything going to the landfill, and then we're having to pay for the landfill. And so, speaking with our city attorney and Mary Beth Bowman today, I did not realize that by state law, we can't just give it away. I was like, why can't we have Habitat Restore or some organization come
Well,
and pick this up?
We can give it away, but it'll take council approval to give it away. So if I've got a filing cabinet down there that somebody could use, I can't just say, give it away.
Right.
Actually, Mayor, you
you
can't
can't.
just give it away unless it's to another governmental entity. You can't give away
Really?
public property
Well, I
to
could give it for
private.
$1.
We could talk about it.
I've quizzed her all day, believe me, everything you're saying.
I assure you, Mary Beth is not going to throw something away that she can get $1 for. She is that conscientious on it. So it's junk. It literally is junk, unusable junk.
It's just that I know that, Habitat and some of these organizations, they sell parts. I go to Habitat Restore if I'm looking for a part or something. So, like I need a handle on my file cabinet if they had a part there or something. So anyway, and I know that we have to do this, but I'm just saying that if there's any way, and I know I've had Ms. Fields looking what we could do for this, but in the future, if there's any way that we can do this or anything we can find. to
Mary
keep
Beth,
it
have you got all this
going
in
to
one
landfill.
area?
Buckeye and the old engineering
If you want to go look at it before, just to give an idea.
No.
I mean, we'll probably only do this once a year, but
Some of the things that are metal
we'll recycle. Yeah.
Right.
we'll get a little money back on that.
If anybody wants to see it, Mary Beth will give you the tour.
I just didn't want anyone to think that we're just taking stuff to the landfill just to be getting rid of it, because we've definitely researched and what we can do. And I know that Mary Beth, you know, she works so hard in clearing
She
out all
does.
these things, so, anyway.
Okay, on the motion.
Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
New business, R 1976, Mayor Smith.
Please call it.
An ordinance amending the 2019 budget for the city of North Little Rock to include additional expenses in certain departmental budgets.
Give me a motion, and I'll ask Ms. Scott to explain it.
So move.
Second.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. You may have heard that in February, we discovered that we were paying the fire department's holiday pay in error. So we did issue checks to the fire department personnel for back pay back to 2016 for their holiday pay. So the first item on that exhibit, the $942,000, is the amount of pay that we paid out. The lot fee and the Medicare is the match on that. Now, the fourth thing under that exhibit, lot fee close plan. 2 years ago, lot fee changed the way that we fund the retirement contributions for the closed police and fire pension plans that were consolidated with lot fee. And in error, I forgot to put the fire department of 1.457 in the budget. The police department actually put their amount in their departmental request, but they put the wrong amount in. So that is what the difference is. So this was strictly the lot fee closed plan. It was an error on my part. I failed to put it in the budget. That was approved by you all.
Ms. Ross.
This back pay that the city paid out, the 900, almost $1 million and everything. Now, was that caught by your department, or is this?
Yes.
So your department caught that?
Yes, when
and
we
then-
transitioned to the new accounting software, we did not pick up the right hourly rate for their holiday.
Okay, but then y'all found it and made it right?
Correct.
Thank you.
What time period did this happen?
We changed to BSNA in March of 2016, so it went back. The first holiday that was paid incorrectly was Memorial Day of 2016.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we have a motion?
Yes, sir.
On the motion.
Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
R 1977, Mayor Smith.
Please call it.
A resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to enter into an amendment to the city service application contract regarding recurring fees for enhanced 911 universal emergency number service with AT&T.
Move for adoption.
Second.
On the motion.
Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
R 1978, Mayor Smith.
Hold on just 1 second. These numbers aren't matching up on Mr. Forrester wanting to speak on special use.
I wrote that down because he had signed up on the other card. Let me tell you which one that is.
Is it?
It is
Oh,
1960.
19. Okay, I got it. I see it.
Did I write R? I meant O. You
No.
should have known that.
I looked.
That's what I meant.
I looked on the wrong page. Okay, let's go on R 1978.
A resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to enter into an agreement to rehabilitate property located at 1604 North Olive Street in the city of North Little Rock.
Move for adoption.
Second.
On the motion.
No, I have a question.
Question?
I just want to make sure, see if Mr. Carter's here. Could he come up here just a second, just for clarification? Because in our Exhibit B, this property address is 1604, but then under Exhibit B, what is, okay, just a
Here,
minute.
Mr. Carter, let me show you.
Oh, okay.
It's the estimate that he has, and Exhibit B has the wrong address. It has 1704. I was to make sure that that is the 1604. We just wanted, we just wanted your comment to make sure that it's that's the correct one. Okay. that's it.
Thank you. Okay, on the motion.
Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Ginn?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
R 1979, Mayor Smith.
Please call it.
A resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute an offer and acceptance with William Watt and to purchase certain real property located on the Arkansas River next to I-440 and next to the Ott Park Off-Road Vehicle Park in the city of North Little Rock.
So moved.
Second.
On the motion.
Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Ginn?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
R 1980, Mayor Smith.
Okay, the next few, I'm going to, they're all condemnations.
Actually, two of those are going to be pulled. R 1981 is going to be pulled, and R 1983. One of them has already been condemned, and the other one has been sold,
Torn down.
torn down, I'm sorry,
Right,
yes.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to call a public hearing on all of these. Anyone here to speak on 3320 East Broadway, 5016 Alpha, bear with me, 1921 Moss. If anybody here wants to speak on any of those three properties, come forward. Okay? Identify yourself and the property you're talking about.
Name is Pravinder Singh Mayor, and I'm here for 3320 East Broadway.
So the first one.
Okay? What's your comment?
We are working on it, and we just got survey last week. The builder need to require the survey, and we couldn't find the old one, so it has to be done again. And there was two buildings on that lot, and we tore one down, and this one we keeping it, so we're gonna use as a office building. So we need a little extra time to pull the permit from the city.
Okay?
Is this the old warehouse liquor?
Yes, dear.
Okay. Anybody, any other comments? Thank you very much, sir. Anybody else on any of these? On this 3320 East Broadway, in the event that the council votes to condemn that property, then you'll have 30 days to get with city council, city attorney,
Sure.
to work up a proposal.
Sure.
Okay?
All right.
All right, thank you very much. You bet. Okay, let's call 1980.
Okay, R 1980, a resolution declaring certain buildings, houses, and other structures located at 3320 East Broadway in the city of North Little Rock to constitute a public nuisance and condemning such structures, providing a period of time for property owner to abate said nuisance.
So moved.
Second.
On the motion.
Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Ginn?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
R 1982, Mayor Smith.
Please call it.
A resolution declaring certain buildings, houses, and other structures located at 5016 Alpha Street in the city of North Little Rock to constitute a public nuisance and condemning such structures, providing a period of time for property owner to abate said nuisance.
So moved.
Second.
On the motion.
Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Ginn?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
R 1984, Mayor Smith.
Please call it.
A resolution declaring certain buildings, houses, and other structures located at 1921 Moss Street in the city of North Little Rock to constitute a public nuisance and condemning said structures, providing a period of time for property owner to abate said nuisance.
Move for adoption. Second.
On the motion.
Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Ginn?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Ordinances, O 1959, Mayor Smith.
Okay, before I go on any further, I'm going to open this up to Mr. Forrester that wanted to speak on 1960. Mr. Forrester, are you here? You want to come up and speak, sir?
1960.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm Skeet Forrester. I represent Burnett's Affordable Buildings. We're seeking a special use permit to sell portable buildings at 1815 East Broadway.
Are you here just for questions? Or do you want to make a comment, or are you just here for questions?
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get this took care of. I don't know what I'm doing, really.
All right.
He's here to answer your
Why
questions.
don't you have a seat, and then we'll call you up if somebody's got a question. Okay? All right, let's go back to 59.
Okay. 1959, an ordinance authorizing the North Little Rock City Departments to charge a service fee on return checks. First reading.
Move to suspend the readings.
Second.
Motion to suspend all readings.
On the motion, Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Give me a motion.
So move.
Second.
On the motion.
On the motion to adopt, Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
On the emergency, Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
1960, Mayor Smith.
Please call it.
An ordinance allowing special use for storage building sales business in a C4 zone for property located at 1815 East Broadway Street in the city of North Little Rock. First reading.
About a motion.
Move to suspend the rules and place it on the second reading.
Second.
On the motion to suspend the rules, place it on second reading.
Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
About a motion.
This is in.
You gonna read it?
I'll read.
You gonna read it?
That was, I thought that was to suspend the readings. Just
Place it on the second reading.
Caught me off guard. Sorry. An ordinance allowing special use for a storage building sales business in the C4 zone for certain real property located at 1815 East Broadway in the city of North Little Rock. Second reading.
Move to suspend the rules and place it on its third reading.
Second.
On the motion.
Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
An ordinance allowing special use for a storage building sales business in a C4 zone for property located at 18 to 15 East Broadway Street in the city of North Little Rock. Third and final reading.
How about a motion? You know, I did this for consideration only because we need to, from city attorney's opinion, to adjudicate these.
Right.
And so if we could have a motion, then we can vote it up or
So
down.
move.
Second.
Any questions or comments?
Just a comment. Wow. I mean, I'm all for storage buildings, and I mean, I need one myself in my backyard. But as I travel all over the state of Arkansas, I'm going up and down Highway 7 and Highway 5 and Highway 65, and I see these storage building facilities on those highways. For this to be right in the middle of our city, right on East Broadway, with myself and Councilmember Robinson and the rest of the council members and the mayor, you know, we worked really hard to try to change the trajectory of East Broadway and what direction and the things that we were trying to do on East Broadway. And I talked to the young man. I know that they've signed a lease and they're trying to trying to do a business. But man, I just don't think it's the right fit for that location. Like I said, I have no heartburns with storage buildings. I need one myself, but I just don't think that's the right location.
Thank you. Any other comments? On the motion.
On the motion to adopt, Ross?
No.
White?
No.
Taylor?
No.
Robinson?
No.
Baxter?
No.
Harris?
Nope.
Gann?
No.
And Height?
No.
The motion failed.
Thank you.
1961, Councilmember Taylor.
Please call it.
An ordinance approving a request to waive requirements of the master street plan for half-street improvements for property located along Colonel Maynard Road and Upper Steel Bend Road in the city of North Little Rock. First reading.
Move to suspend the reading.
Second.
On the motion to suspend all readings.
Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes. Move for adoption.
Second.
On the motion,
Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
O 1962, Councilmember Harris.
Diane, the emergency.
Oh, I'm sorry. On the emergency on the previous item, Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height? Now, O 1962, Councilmember Harris.
Please call, and can I add City Council Member Baxter to that list too?
Well, yeah.
without objection? Okay.
An ordinance granting a waiver of the sidewalk requirements of Section 12.21 of the zoning ordinance for a connecting street on certain real property located at the north side of Phase 25 Country Club of Arkansas to White Oak Crossing in the city of North Little Rock. First reading.
I have an amendment to that.
Need to,
Move to suspend all readings.
Oh, let's do that first.
Second.
We got a motion and a second, suspend all readings. On the motion.
motion to suspend the readings. Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Okay,
Now your
amendment
motion.
time.
You have an amendment?
Yeah, a couple of word changes here. On section 1 where it says the following waiver, we're going to change the waiver of the sidewalk to defer. So we're just going to defer it to later on down the road, so when that development does come in, there's going to be sidewalks, but it's just not right now.
I think that's a good amendment.
That's great.
And then the
Very
other-
good, ma'am.
I don't have a problem with this. This is the first time I remember us doing anything like this. And normally, you know, but it's for the whole street, not just separate properties.
Right, so that when this property is developed, then each one can come in instead of, cracking up concrete as, just to get to this property before it's developed. Whoever's developing it can put their own, concrete in. So it's a good plan.
This was confusing to me at the very beginning, and we finally figured out. The property owner is Stuart Vess. And I called Stuart and told him what was going on here, and he understands why we're doing it, and Alderman, Councilmember Harris agrees that it's the best idea. So all we're doing, letting them build the road so they can get to that neighborhood that they want to build a couple hundred homes in, and then as the road starts to develop, that goes to the neighborhood, then they'll have to come back to planning and get sidewalk and curb and gutter. And Stuart understands that. Yes, ma'am.
So it's being deferred to the next developer?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Well,
And if this individual that's developing wants to develop the next, so it's being deferred to whoever builds next,
Right,
not necessarily this individual.
right,
Yes.
on that stretch of road. Mall Mill's on the other side, we're on one side,
Right.
Mall Mill's on the other side. And Stuart Vess is the owner, and he understands that, he won't develop it, he'll sell them. He'll sell a lot or two lots to Come and Go or to Family Dollar or whatever he's gonna do. Then Family Dollar will have to go to planning, and then they'll look and see, how many curb cuts we need, blah, blah, blah. So I think this is the best thing. So we got a motion to amend. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second on the motion to amend.
So the motion to amend will be the entire amendment. So that will be Ross?
Ross?
So I'm still confused. So with this legislation, we're giving the deferral to this individual?
We're giving the deferral to the
project.
the guy that's building the road, who's John Wright,
Okay.
okay? He bought that 60-foot right-of-way.
So John,
That goes down to his 30 acres or 40 acres or whatever, that he is selling to Ross Coleman.
okay.
And so the deferral is to John Wright for the road.
So John Wright will have to put in the sidewalks eventually?
No, he doesn't own anything but the road. Stuart Vess owns the side of the road. So Stuart will have to put in, or the developer, whoever buys Stuart's property will have to put in the sidewalk and the curb and gutter as designed or told by the planning commission and approved by us.
Well, whoever comes in and put the actual buildings in will put the sidewalks in.
The normal development
Right.
does.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay, on the motion.
So we had Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann? And Height?
Yes.
We had a motion to adopt.
Motion
So
to
moved.
adopt.
Motion.
Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
and Height?
Yes.
On the emergency, Ross?
Yes.
White? Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Concludes new business.
Thank you very much. Let's go to public comment. James Ard.
Did you get one of these? Did everybody?
3 minutes, please.
Firemen have longer than that. Linda Robinson, I need your help. I know you're working real hard on trying to figure out a way to do something about these people. Go out on weekends, get roof put on, sewers put on, and all this. This weekend, roof got put on, no permit. So I called the police, they came out, they convinced them they didn't have to have one because the church was doing it. She went down and got a permit, homeowner. Then she brought me a copy and threw it on my front porch and threatened me. Said I was dealing with the wrong person. So now I have to give it to the chief, and somebody's going to go out and have a little talk with her. But we need to do something about all these people. Summer's getting here, they're doing sewers, not doing gas lines because the gas company does them themselves now, water lines, and all sorts of stuff. And all these people begin to cut that grass with no permits. Now, one reason I'm upset about all this, we keep on losing money. And eventually, the next mayor, whoever it is, here comes garbage fee. This people on low income can't afford anywhere from $15 to $40 a month garbage fee. So there's nothing wrong with trying to force them to pay their fair share when they do something on their property. Code takes their trucks home all the time. Why can't they be? I'm not supposed to ask questions, but it looks like they could be called out to do something on the weekends. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Singh, 3320 East Broadway. 3320 East Broadway.
Get anything added?
He's gone.
He's gone.
Did you ask him about it?
Sydney Rosh, 312 West M Street.
That's all.
Sydney?
Locust, isn't it?
Hey, Sydney.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Mary Smith. Thank you, City Council. My name is Sydney Rash. I'm a 5-year resident of North Little Rock, registered voter. I'm a law student at UALR, Bowen School of Law, and I am currently the interim president of North Little Rock Friends of the Animals. And I came here today to discuss North Little Rock Municipal Code 10-46, the pit bull ban. I would like to ask the City Council to consider legislation repealing this ban. Last week, the City of Cabot, it's been very well publicized, repealed or replaced their ban with a more reasonable alternative, which mirrors our current vicious dog ordinance, which also includes a requirement for residents to have a certain amount of insurance on their home, which would cover liability in case their dog bit somebody. It's very similar to the policy that's already been adopted by the City of Little Rock a long time ago, which requires registration of the dogs, proof of current vetting, rabies vaccinations, and I believe the registration is yearly, and it requires a fee, which that fee could continue to benefit the city, as well as the animal shelter, which really needs it. And we do already have this vicious dog ordinance in place, which really does actually address the majority of the issues, which is bad owners, people that don't take care of their dogs. And that ordinance has generally proven effective, whereas this breed ban really does not prove effective. And it was very exciting to see the City of Cabot move in a more positive direction, as is most of the country these days. And I would really love to see the City of North Little Rock move in this direction, especially considering we're not so different from Little Rock, and they already have a registration policy in place as opposed to a breed ban. The majority of residents in North Little Rock don't approve of this ban. They support a repeal and replace. That's been recently seen on a lot of social media postings. But I do think that the repeal and replacement of this ban is really in the best interest of the city, both fiscally and practically. So I just wanted to make a comment about that today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sydney. It's a pretty rowdy group you're sitting back there with. You better watch them.
Can I say something?
Absolutely.
Can I say something loud? Mayor, can I say something?
Absolutely.
There's a very nice lady that lives right next door to me and has a cute little dog. And 2 weeks ago, she walked down Glenmere off of McCain, and a pit bull mix jumped the fence and knocked her down, and she had to go to the hospital. And he came after her dog and chewed up the back third of him, and he had to go to the vet. Now, the man did, cover all of her medical expenses and the vet bill, but I just want you to know it's still happening even today.
Thank you. Brittany Wood, 3608 Gum. Brittany.
Hi, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, City Council. I was also wanting to talk about the breed ban, and of course, there are aggressive pit bulls, but there are also aggressive pets of every single breed. I work with dogs every single day, and we have never had a problem with pits or pit mixes. We've had problems with, I've personally been bitten by Chihuahuas, Terriers, Dachshunds. We've had Shepherds and Heelers with problems, but we've never had an issue with pits, and that's not to say that they don't exist. But they exist in the exact same proportion as every other breed. I think that a breed ban against pit bulls is dangerously archaic and misinformed. I think that it is really stoking fear in the public, and if the real goal is community safety, then the vicious dog ordinance that we already have is more than enough. It's very rare to hear somebody who works with dogs every single day express opinions that pit bulls are inherently aggressive. Almost always I hear those sort of comments from just regular citizens who are scared and misinformed and whose fear is being confirmed by the presence of a breed ban. Frankly, I don't want my tax dollars funding an ACO to go pick up a pit and put it down just because it's a pit bull. I really would implore you guys to consider the fact that we are euthanizing hundreds of dogs who are loving and who deserve a good home and who can make people happy just because they have, a certain breed written on their kennel card. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Charles Witcher, 1119 West 7th.
Trees.
Good evening, everybody. I'm back about these trees. This time I brought pictures. Nobody's contacted me, nobody's came out. They steady falling every time it rains. Like I'm worried that they're gonna fall on my house. Would you like to see the pictures?
No, actually, I drove out there and looked at it.
You seen where they busting up the sidewalk, over the power lines, over my house?
Right.
Just the other day, one in front of my house fell directly behind Sanders. It fell across the road. The one across the street on Parker, it fell down, which Jim, the guy that's doing the Rockwater development, he had one fall on his land. Like, I don't know how long they're gonna stand and how long am I supposed to wait?
Yeah, we're certainly looking into all the situations right now. Everything's so wet that we're having a lot of trees fall, but, Chief Bradley, raise your hand. Hand those pictures to him. That'll remind us to go over there again. But I went over there myself and looked at it after last week. So.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Charles. Nick Frankie.
Good evening, Mayor, ladies and gentlemen of the council. I'm Nick Frankie, 501 Rock Street. I've been looking through the past 5 years of the North Little Rock budget and the North Little Rock Airport budget, and I've been unable to locate the $50,000 the mayor said the North Little Rock Airport brought into the city last year. I've contacted via email all the council members and the mayor's office, and I've called Mr. Baxter and Mr. Harris, my representatives, and left them messages. I can't find, if they did bring in 50,000, that should be on the budget. It should come over, it should show up on the North Little Rock budget or on the North Little Rock Airport budget, but it doesn't. But I would like to address the members of the Airport Commission that have stayed beyond their terms. We have these term limits in order to deter the backroom deals that happen, to keep a viable and present, a new commissioners on board with what's going on in the city. I wonder if the city paid to repave Mr. Blakey, one of the commissioners, private parking area for supporting this unprecedented building of hangars for corporate aircraft from city funds. The Federal Aviation Administration Airport Compliance Manual, Order 5190.6B, lays out how to comply with the Airport Improvement Program. The 5190 sets forth policies that the airport must follow to comply with federal grant assurances. These overturned commissioners may not be in compliance, as in they are approving non-qualified engineers and non-qualified construction at the North Little Rock Airport. This is an excellent opportunity for the city government to be transparent, and please keep in mind that tax money that you take from us is for all of us, not for a chosen few. Thank you.
Lynn Dearsall.
Thank you, Mayor Smith, City Council, members, International Association of Firefighters. I just wanted to make sure you got my email this afternoon, Mayor, on our new proposal.
I just glanced at it. I hadn't had really a chance to look at it.
Yeah, I know you've been busy. We just, we met with Chief Bradley and Chief Tucker and Chief Buford about 10 days ago, and we got the proposal from them, and they kind of left the room and allowed us to sit there for a while and talk about it. And we kind of, at the time, we didn't think that the members would go for that proposal at that time, but since then, we've had time to think about it, and we kind of wanted to, we polled our members in the last 5 days. We showed them, your proposal and our proposal, or what the ramifications of your proposal would be. And over the last 5 days, I polled 145 of our members, and 140 responded back, and only 28% were favorable for that proposal from the 12th. I think we could get an agreement if our members were able to accrue their discretionary leave and their vacation that they get after 15 years of service, if they could continue to get that when they meet those anniversary dates of 5, 10, 15, and 20 years of service, rather than having to wait an additional year to be able to schedule those. I think everybody's okay with the overtime cycle and getting knocked out of the scheduled overtime for being off for any reason. And we're willing to sit down and discuss a catastrophic leave policy on our sick leave, and forego the unlimited sick leave like the rest of the city employees.
Okay.
So
thank you, Lynn.
that's where we're at.
I'll look at it tomorrow, and we'll get back to you maybe before tomorrow afternoon.
Okay, thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Any city council members have anything for good of the order? Charlie?
I know you and I have had this discussion before about scooters.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday on the river, yesterday on the river trail, I got ready to ride my bike about, it was about 3:30, 3:45, and about a dozen scooter riders come riding through evidently they come off the Clinton Bridge, and they were doing figure eights. I don't know what all they were doing down on the river trail, but they almost didn't, they went by my truck a couple of times, but they almost hit a couple of bikers, they almost hit a couple of pedestrians, And then I noticed that they went on down the river trail and they parked their scooters and left them down there in the Rockwater Marina parking lot. There was 8 or 9 of them down there, and I don't know where the people went that had rented those scooters. But we got to do something about scooter usage on our trails, Mayor.
Yeah, I get it.
You know.
I used the trail, I went bike riding Saturday.
I heard about it.
And there was a tremendous amount of them. You know, I mean, I've got, we're still in the research mode. You know, we're hearing that these scooter companies aren't making any money, and they might slowly go away. I've talked to, well, when we were in Plano, Debbie, if you'll remember, you know, the Plano mayor said, you know, he was just going to give up, that the millennials of the world wanted these things. And then we did a little bit further research and called Santa Barbara, who had approved them. And after 6 months, they unapproved them. And so there's a lot of moving parts with it right now. So we're on top of it. We're watching it to see if it becomes a safety hazard. You know, and one side of me says, man, it was really nice to see so many people out enjoying, you know, our weather and our downtown and our trails. And I was on both sides of the river, and but the other side goes, you know, number one, that kid wasn't 16 years old.
Yeah, it's an accident waiting to happen.
I agree. I agree. So we're looking into it.
A couple of weeks ago, we were coming out of the council meeting, and I was walking out the glass doors, and Diane she was kind of on the side by where her car's parked, and the scooter people were coming along, and they weren't looking, and I came pretty close to getting hit, because they weren't looking as you come directly out of a building, so, and they were on the sidewalk, so.
I agree. Well, we haven't approved or disapproved. You know, the state legislature approved the scooters, but we finally got it amended, maybe 2 days before the session ended, that they finally agreed to let it up to local control. So, you know, we're looking at it. We're trying to let Little Rock be the test market, but they're already starting to leach over, and I don't mean that in a bad way. They're coming over our side of the river, so we're going to have to address it. You know, whether we could go in and maybe talk to the people that program these scooters, that, you know, they have golf carts this way, that if you get off the golf cart path, it shuts it down. And so we could have them program their computers that once it got to the top of the bridge heading this way, the computer would shut down. So I don't know if that's an option or not, but
Well,
you know,
Mayor?
Robert's saying no. Robert's been in contact with them, yeah.
In the meantime, though, we don't allow them on the sidewalks over here.
Right.
So they're still riding them on the sidewalks, like little race.
We don't allow
cars.
it like there is a law?
Yes.
Yes,
There is, Amy?
motorized.
Motorized vehicles are not allowed on the sidewalk, and it's it's got a little motor, even if it's electric.
And that's the same for the parks trails. Motorized vehicles are prohibited.
And there you go, Mayor. That's just one of those things Mr. Arv was talking about, those opportunities, you know, that we don't take, that we don't, I say take advantage of, but ensure that people are doing the right thing. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Whether it be scooters or roof permits or
Give me
whatever.
some time to mess with it.
I think police and fire vehicles are exempt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mayor, on the May, did you see the email about the May 27th council meeting?
No.
That will be Memorial Day, so
Okay.
I wanted to give you enough time to see if the council wanted to do it the next day or something.
Anybody got a thought or comment on that? To move the Memorial Day council meeting to the next day, which would be a Tuesday? Is that okay with everybody? Okay. All right, consider that done then. Ms. Whitby handed us a Arbor Day on Friday, April the 26th. That's this Friday at 2 o'clock. The Lehman Library, we're going to have a planting of a willow oak tree on that tree that was brought down earlier in the year. So if you can be there, we would love for you to be there. And lastly, today Arkansas Business came out and kind of highlighted our efforts on economic development as far as our airport goes. So I gave you all a copy of it. It was really good reading, fine and dandy about reading about us, but read about the other airports that are in there and the other comments from airport managers, Bentonville, Hot Springs, Conway, the list goes on and on. So I wanted y'all to all have a copy of this, that Arkansas Business realizes that airports are definitely an economic development engine. And so at your leisure, please feel free to look at it. With that, Ms. Ross?
Saturday, May the 5th, is it the 5th or the 4th? May the 4th is Keep North Little Rock Beautiful, the Great North Little Rock Cleanup for 2019. So if you have a group that wants to clean up on that day, Keep North Little Rock Beautiful, they provide the bags and they have some picker-uppers and everything. And even if you just want to do one little street in your neighborhood, it would be greatly appreciated. And they'll have a picnic.
Isn't there a website?
On Facebook, they have the Great North Rock Cleanup that you can sign up on.
Randy's been coming to this meeting every year for 20 years, I bet. He must have been busy tonight.
He worked too hard Saturday, maybe at the cemetery cleaning
Randy
that up.
Naylor's the chairman of that and has been for a long time, and he does it, he and
But
his wife.
they'll have the picnic afterwards out at Burns Park this year.
Yeah, perfect.
As always.
May 4th.
Robert? Put that on our Facebook page today also. Okay. All right, cleanup is on our Facebook page. Okay, nothing else. How about a motion?
Adjourn.
So moved.
On
Second.
motion.
Ross?
Yes.
White? Taylor? Robinson? Baxter? Harris?
Yes.
Gann? And Height?
Yes.